Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep into the AI market today because, well, things have been pretty wild lately.
Yeah, no kidding. There's a lot to unpack.
For sure, it seems like everyone's talking about AI now more than ever, especially companies like Nvidia. But then there's some news that has people wondering if things are maybe slowing down.
Right, like with Microsoft potentially scaling back their data center leases.
Yeah, exactly. That could mean they're spending less on AI infrastructure, which kind of throws a wrench in things.
It does, but then you have someone like Louis Navier, who's a pretty well-known investor. He's made some really good calls in the past, and he's saying Nvidia is the stock of the decade.
Yeah, so it's like, are things speeding up or slowing down? It's hard to say for sure.
Definitely a lot of mixed signals out there.
It feels like we're at a crossroads with all this going on.
It really does.
On the one hand, you have this potential pullback from Microsoft, but then on the other hand, OpenAI is teaming up with Oracle and SoftBank for their Stargate project, which honestly just makes things even more interesting.
Oh yeah, that's a big deal, for sure.
And then there's the wild card in all of this DeepSea,
DeepSeek, right.
this Chinese AI app that's basically exploded overnight.
It seems like it came out of nowhere.
It really does, so we've got a lot to cover today.
We do. A lot of moving pieces in the AI world right now.
By the end of this deep dive, though, you'll have a much clearer picture of what all of this means.
And hopefully a better understanding of what it means for anyone who's thinking about investing in this space.
Exactly. So let's start by unpacking Microsoft's data center moves. There have been reports about them possibly canceling some of their data center leases and maybe even scaling back their international expansion.
Uh-huh.
TD Cowen, their financial services firm, even released a report about all of this.
Oh, wow. So this is pretty serious then.
Seems like it. So to understand why this is such a big deal, we need to talk about what data centers actually do for AI.
Right, because they're pretty crucial.
Totally. They're basically the foundation for developing and running these really powerful AI models. They house all the computing power that these models need.
Exactly. They're like the backbone of the whole operation.
So when a company like Microsoft even hints at maybe slowing down their data center expansion, it makes you wonder if the market's getting close to having too much supply.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, you don't want to build more than you need.
Right. And Satya Nadella, Microsoft's CEO, he's actually talked about the importance of balancing AI supply and demand.
He has. He's mentioned that a few times.
Do you think that this potential slowdown in data center spending could be their way of trying to find that balance?
It's definitely possible. They could be adjusting their strategy based on how the market's changing.
So this is something we need to keep an eye on.
Oh, absolutely. Especially because a slowdown in data center construction from a major player like Microsoft could have a ripple effect.
Impacting the whole tech industry.
Yeah, possibly even the economy as a whole.
It makes you wonder what Microsoft might be shifting their focus and resources towards.
It really does. And that leads us to a pretty interesting point that Kevin brought up.
Kevin, the tech analyst.
Yeah, exactly. He thinks we might see a shift towards investing in other areas of AI like humanoid robotics.
Humanoid robots. That's pretty out there.
I know, right? But it's a field that's expected to grow a lot in the next few years, and maybe companies like Microsoft are starting to prepare for that?
So they're kind of getting ahead of the curve.
Could be. Now, speaking of growth, we have to talk about DeepSeek.
DeepSeek, this is the Chinese AI app that's causing all the buzz right now.
Right, everyone's talking about it.
It's gained popularity so fast that some people are even saying it could disrupt major players like ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's the DeepSeek effect, some are calling it.
Okay, so what is the DeepSeek effect exactly?
Well, the argument is that DeepSeek's so efficient that it might actually reduce the need for those massive data centers we were just talking about.
So like it can deliver amazing results, but without needing as much computing power.
Exactly. It challenges the idea that you always need bigger and more powerful data centers to advance AI.
It's like that lemonade stand analogy Kevin uses.
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
If you figure out a way to make the same amount of lemonade, but you use fewer lemons, you don't need to expand your lemon supply, right?
Exactly. But here's the thing. Does being more efficient automatically mean there'll be less demand overall? That's the question.
That's a good question.
Some experts think DeepSeek's efficiency will just open AI up to a wider audience, which would lead to even more usage.
So more people using AI, but in a more efficient way.
Right, but then others argue that it could actually lead to consolidation in the AI market because companies will try to become more efficient to compete.
So it's kind of a survival of the fittest situation.
Yeah, something like that. It's really too early to say for sure how it'll all play out.
A lot of different opinions out there.
There are, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this all unfolds, especially with Nvidia's earnings report coming up soon.
Oh yeah, Nvidia's earnings are always a big deal.
They are, but this time it feels especially important.
Because of everything that's going on with the AI market.
Exactly. Sarah Kuntz, she's the managing director at Clio Capital.
Mm-hmm.
She's pointed out that Nvidia is often seen as a kind of bellwether for the tech market as a whole.
So what they do can give us a glimpse into the overall health of the industry.
Right, and their performance can really impact other companies and investors.
So what are the experts saying about Nvidia's future, considering all these potential market shifts?
Well, Sarah Kuntz seems pretty optimistic about their long-term prospects.
Which makes sense. They have a long history of being successful and innovating.
They do, but it's important to also consider what impact companies like DeepSea and other new competitors could have.
True, competition is heating up.
For sure. Even Kevin, he's not necessarily pessimistic about Nvidia, but he's mentioned some concerns about a potential slowdown in the demand for their chips in the short term.
So maybe a bit of a bumpy road ahead.
It's possible. We'll have to see how things play out.
It does seem like Nvidia's dominance in the AI chip market is being challenged.
Oh, definitely. And that's why it's so important to understand the specifics of their business.
Like, what contributes to their success beyond just making chips?
Right. It's about more than just the hardware. What about their software, their partnerships, their investments in research and development? All of that matters when we're trying to figure out their future.
Okay, so while everyone's watching to see how Nvidia handles these changes, we should also be thinking about the bigger picture.
Exactly. Nvidia is just one part of the story. To really understand where the AI market is going, we need to look at everything that's happening.
And that's where Louis Navier's perspective comes in.
Yes. He has some really interesting insights.
He's incredibly bullish on Nvidia, even calling it a monopoly and the stock of the decade.
Yeah, he's not holding back.
I'd love to hear more about his analysis.
Well, he believes that Nvidia's invested so much in developing generative AI chips that they have a major advantage over everyone else.
Generative AI chips, what are those exactly?
So those are the chips that power things like ChatGPT, the AI tools that can create new content like text images, even music.
Oh, wow. So they're kind of like the brains behind all of that.
Exactly. And NVIDIA's basically cornered the market on the hardware you need to run those models really well.
Okay, so when Navier calls Nvidia a monopoly, is he saying there's absolutely no competition?
Well, it's not quite that simple. There's always competition in the tech world.
Right, someone's always trying to catch up.
Exactly. What he's really saying is that NVIDIA has a really strong position in a key part of the AI market. They have a big head start, and it's going to be tough for others to catch up.
So for investors, it's important to understand what that dominance means in the context of the whole AI landscape.
Right. It doesn't mean NVIDIA is the only company worth looking at, but it suggests that they have a good spot in a market that's growing quickly.
It's all about understanding those market trends.
Exactly. And figuring out which companies are in the best position to benefit from the growth of AI, whether they're chip makers like NVIDIA or software developers.
So it's not just about picking the hottest company, but about understanding the forces that are shaping the market.
Right, because that's how you make smart investment decisions.
Okay, so we got a lot more to talk about, but let's take a quick break to recap what we've covered so far. We'll be right back to continue our deep dive into the AI market.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we were talking about Louis Navier's approach to investing in AI and how he looks for companies with a strong position in their market, but also good fundamentals like those high operating margins.
Right, right. And what's really interesting is that he doesn't just focus on tech companies that are, directly developing AI.
Oh.
He actually sees a big opportunity in companies that are using AI to make their existing business models even better. And he specifically mentions companies with direct sales models.
Now, this might sound a little counterintuitive. We've been talking about data centers slowing down and efficient AI like DeepSea. So where do these direct sales companies fit in?
Yeah, that's a good question. It really comes down to how AI can boost what these companies are already good at. You see, direct sales models, they really rely on personalization and strong customer relationships. And AI is amazing at analyzing data to figure out what individual customers prefer and what they're likely to buy.
Oh, I see. So it's like giving those salespeople a secret weapon.
Exactly. Companies that can integrate AI into their direct sales strategies have a real advantage.
So it's not about replacing humans with robots, but giving humans AI tools to be even better at their jobs.
Right. It's about combining human skills with AI insights, and Navier have some really interesting examples of companies doing this well.
Oh, like who?
Well, one is ELF Beauty, they're a cosmetics company, and they've used direct sales and AI-powered marketing to build a really diverse and loyal customer base.
ELF Beauty, I've heard of them. I think they're really good at using social media to connect with their customers.
Yeah, exactly. They've used AI to figure out social media trends and what customers are saying online to create marketing campaigns that are super targeted and personalized.
So they can figure out what different groups of customers want and then tailor their message accordingly.
Exactly. It's a great example of how AI can make direct sales much more effective.
It sounds like it's working for them. But what about companies that aren't selling beauty products? Does this direct sales AI combo work in other industries?
Navier seems to think so. He mentions Evolved Group. They're a luxury fashion retailer, and they've had a lot of success using influencer marketing and AI-driven sales strategies.
Okay, influencer marketing makes sense for fashion, but where does the AI come in?
Well, they use AI to look at data from their online store, their social media, and their influencer campaigns to see what's really resonating with their target
So
audience.
they can see what's working and what's not.
Right, and then they use that information to refine their product selection, make personalized recommendations, and even try to predict future fashion trends.
Wow, so it's like a data-driven approach to fashion.
Yeah, you could say that, but it's interesting how they're combining that with influencer marketing, which is all about relationships and human connection. It's really that idea of blending AI with human expertise.
Like the best of both worlds.
Exactly. It's not about choosing one over the other. It's about finding the right mix. AI can provide the insights, but it's the human element that builds those relationships and ultimately closes the deals.
So going back to Navier's focus on companies with high operating margins, would you say that this direct sales and AI strategy is a way for companies to become more profitable?
Yeah, I think that's definitely part of the appeal. By using AI to optimize their marketing, and sales companies can become more efficient and effective, which often leads to higher margins.
So they're spending less and making more.
In a nutshell. But it's not just about cutting costs, it's also about bringing in more revenue by attracting new customers and keeping the ones they have happy.
So it's a win-win.
Right. And, this actually connects back to what we were talking about earlier with DeepSeek's efficiency and the potential slowdown in data center spending.
You mean how companies are looking for ways to do more with less?
Exactly. That seems to be a big trend right now.
It makes sense you want to be as efficient as possible.
It's not just about building bigger, more powerful AI models. It's about finding new and creative ways to use AI to actually solve real-world problems and create value.
Okay, yeah, I'm starting to see the bigger picture here. The AI market is changing so quickly, and the companies that are going to succeed are the ones that can adapt and find ways to use AI to their advantage.
Absolutely. And those advantages can take many forms, from developing better algorithms to optimizing existing business models like we've been talking about.
So there's no one-size-fits-all approach to AI.
Nope. It's a really exciting time to be following this space because there's so much innovation happening.
I can't wait to hear more about the other companies Navier mentioned that are using AI in unique ways.
He does highlight some really interesting examples that show just how broad AI's impact can be across different industries.
Okay, but before we get to those, I think we should circle back to the news about Microsoft potentially cutting back their data center spending.
Oh, yeah, we kind of left that hanging.
We talked about how it could mean they're investing less in AI infrastructure, but we didn't really explore what they might be shifting their focus towards.
Right. It's important to look at what they're moving towards, not just what they're moving away from.
And this brings us back to Kevin and his prediction.
Yeah, Kevin thinks Microsoft might be redirecting their investments towards other areas of AI, specifically humanoid robotics.
Humanoid robotics. That sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
I know, right? But the field is developing so fast, Kevin thinks companies like Microsoft see humanoid robots as a key part of the future of AI, and they're starting to get ready for it.
But why humanoid robots? Why not just focus on more advanced AI software or different types of robots?
Well, there are a few reasons. First, humanoid robots have the potential to do things in the real world that other robots just can't do yet.
Like what?
They can navigate complicated environments, interact with objects in a human-like way, and even work with humans more naturally.
So you're saying they could work alongside humans in factories, warehouses, maybe even our homes.
Exactly. They could help with all sorts of tasks, from manufacturing and logistics to healthcare and elder care.
Wow, the possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
They are. And the second reason is that humanoid robots can be used as a platform to develop and test new AI algorithms and technologies.
Oh, so by interacting with the real world in a human-like way, they can provide data and feedback to improve AI systems overall.
That's the idea. It's like having a real-world testing ground for all those AI advancements we've been talking about.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, but it also brings up some big questions. What are the ethical implications of having robots that look and act so much like us?
That's a huge issue, and it's something that's being debated a lot in the AI community. There are worries about jobs being replaced, privacy concerns, and even the potential for robots to be used for harmful purposes.
It's a little unsettling to think about.
It is, but there are also potential benefits to consider, like increased productivity, improved safety in dangerous environments, and even the possibility of robots providing companionship or care for people who need it.
So it's not all doom and gloom.
Definitely not. But it's a conversation we need to keep having as AI keeps advancing. We can't just focus on what's technologically possible. We also have to think about the impact on society and ethics.
You're right, we have to be responsible with this technology.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that AI isn't just about algorithms and data. It's about how we as humans choose to use it.
And that brings us to another important aspect of the AI landscape that we haven't really talked about yet, the geopolitical side of things.
Oh, right. Like the fact that DeepSea is a Chinese company.
Yeah, exactly. And how that might impact the global AI landscape.
It's not just a technological development, it's a geopolitical one too. It shows how China is becoming a major player in the AI world, and it raises all sorts of questions about how international relations will shape the future of AI.
So things are about to get even more complicated.
You could say that. We're not just talking about companies and technologies anymore. We're talking about countries and global power dynamics.
It's like a whole new level of complexity.
It is. AI is becoming more and more connected to national interests and global competition, and that's something we need to be aware of as we try to understand the forces shaping the AI market.
Wow, okay, I'm really starting to see how all these pieces fit together. The technology, the economics, the geopolitics, it's all connected.
It is. The AI landscape is complex and constantly changing. To really get it, we need to look at it from all these different angles.
This has been an amazing discussion so far. We've covered so much from Microsoft's data center moves to DeepSeek's potential impact, and now the geopolitical implications of China's role in AI. I'm excited to hear what Navier has to say about other companies that are using AI in innovative ways.
Yeah, he has some really great examples that show just how much potential AI has across different industries.
Well, let's dive in and see what else he has to share. Okay, so we're ready to hear about some of these under-the-radar companies that Louis Navier thinks are going to benefit from the AI boom. You mentioned he had some pretty interesting examples.
He does, and they really show how AI is impacting all kinds of industries, even ones you wouldn't normally think of as being super high-tech.
Okay, so what kind of companies are we talking about?
Well, one that stood out to me is quant services. They basically provide back-office support for financial institutions, things like processing trades and managing data.
So not exactly the most exciting industry.
Maybe not on the surface, but think about it. All those financial transactions create a ton of data.
Right, and AI could analyze that data to make things more efficient.
Exactly. It could even spot patterns that humans might miss.
That's pretty cool.
And that's what quant services is doing. They're using AI to automate and streamline their operations, which means they can offer their services more cheaply and efficiently.
Makes sense. It gives them an edge in a market that's always been really labor-intensive.
It does. It just shows how AI isn't just about creating fancy new products or services. It can also be used to improve existing businesses, even the ones that are kind of behind the scenes.
It all comes back to what Navier was saying about looking beyond the hype and focusing on companies with strong fundamentals. It seems like quant services fits that description pretty well.
Totally. They've got a solid track record. They know their market, and they're using AI to get even better at what they do. It's a winning formula.
Okay, so quant services is shaking things up in the financial world. What other interesting companies does Navier mention?
Another one is PWR. They specialize in power management solutions for data centers.
Now that's interesting because we were just talking about a potential slowdown in data center spending. Wouldn't that be bad for a company like PWR?
It might seem that way, but Navier sees it differently. He thinks that even if fewer data centers are being built, the demand for efficient power management is just going to keep going up.
Why is that?
Well, data centers use a huge amount of energy, and as they get more powerful and complex, they're going to need even more energy.
So it's a growing problem.
It is, and that creates a big opportunity for companies like PWR that can help data center operators save energy and money.
So they're kind of like the unsung heroes, making sure all those powerful computers can stay on.
Yeah, and they're doing it in a way that's good for the environment, which is a big bonus these days.
I'm starting to see the pattern here. Nader's not just picking companies at random. He's looking for the ones that are in the right place to benefit from the rise of AI in different ways, whether it's through direct sales, back office optimization, or even power management. He's finding the companies that are solving the real problems that come with the AI revolution.
Exactly. He's not chasing trends. He's looking for companies that are providing essential services and solutions that are going to be needed no matter what happens in the AI market.
That's a really smart way to think about investing. But does Navier mention any companies that are actually developing new AI technologies? Or is he just focused on the ones that are using AI to improve existing businesses?
He does mention a few companies that are working on cutting-edge AI development. One that comes to mind is C3.ai and build enterprise AI applications for all sorts of industries, from manufacturing and energy to healthcare and finance.
So they're kind of like the AI experts for hire, creating custom solutions for companies that want to use AI but don't necessarily have the skills to do it themselves?
Exactly. They're filling a really important gap in the market, making AI accessible to companies that wouldn't be able to use it otherwise.
That's awesome. It really goes back to that idea of democratizing AI. It's not just for the big tech companies anymore. It's for everyone.
Right. And companies like C3.ai are making that happen. They're making AI more affordable, easier to use, and available to more businesses. This is going to have a huge impact on how companies operate and compete in the future.
Wow, this has been a truly eye-opening deep dive into the AI market. We've covered so much, from the potential slowdown in data center spending to the rise of DeepSeek, the geopolitical stuff with China and all the different ways companies are using AI across different industries.
It's been a wild ride. I think the main takeaway is that the AI revolution is just getting started. There's so much more to come, and the companies that will succeed are the ones that can adapt, innovate, and find creative ways to use AI to solve real problems and create value.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And to our listeners, my advice is to stay curious, stay informed, and never stop learning. The AI landscape is changing all the time, and the more you understand it, the better prepared you'll be to navigate the opportunities and challenges that come with it.
Absolutely. AI isn't just some technology, it's a force that's changing the world in big ways. And the more we understand about it, the better we can shape its future.
So true. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI. We'll be back soon with another fascinating look at the ideas and trends that are shaping our world. Until then, keep exploring.